Hey guys, it's John from Album Review TV. It's time for a review of the 5th studio album and sequel album, The Wrong Side of Heaven and the Righteous Side of Hell Part 2 by Five Finger Death Punch. They're a heavy metal band and they released Volume 1 of this album on July 30th of this year, and now in November we get Part 2. The lead single off of this one is called Battle Born, and we'll get into that track in a minute, but overall this album is lacking. It's lacking a lot of what the first album had, a lot of true anger that I actually felt was genuine and didn't just come off cheesy and cliche, and it's also lacking just some of the musical stylings and originality that some of their earlier albums like War is the Answer and even one of their more recent albums, American Capitalist, actually had. They fall into a lot of cliches, lyrically especially, and I don't often encourage outside co-writers, but Ivan Moody, the leader of this band that writes a lot of these and most of these lyrics, is just in desperate need of some help lyrically because they are just falling into very, very generic territory with many of these songs. And I feel like if this is the direction that this band goes, then a lot of other people will go in that direction and already have. Many bands have fallen into these cliches, and that's why some people just come to that. It's just almost like pop music. They're saying the same things over and over again. When a band falls into a rut like that, it can be very hard to get out of. Now, I mentioned Battle Born. It's easily one of the most generic rock and metal tracks that I've heard this year alone, and one that lyrically just makes me want to rip my eyelids off. It's just that agonizing. It's like nails into the skin because I listen to it and I just hear these things that I've heard so many people say. You've flown 1,000,000 miles, you've been 1,000 places, you've shook 1,000 hands. Okay, that's cool, and we get it that you're relating this whole thing, like all the tour and everything and just being out on the road. It's prepped you to be battle born. I really do enjoy this band a lot of the time, but when I hear how good they can be compared to how they are on tracks like Battle Born, I just have to say that I'm very disappointed, and with this being the single especially. Other tracks that just fall into that lyrically really cliche category for me are Cradle to the Grave, My Heart Lied, even the opening track, Here to Die. Even though that one sounds great musically and structured-wise, the guitars do sound familiar but still somewhat inventive, so it's saved musically almost, but lyrically this song falls flat on its face, as does much of this album, like I mentioned. Sick of all the lies, tired of pretending, I've turned away one too many times. Those are all lines you're going to hear on Here to Die. And those are all phrases I've heard one too many times. Weight Beneath My Skin is a track that finds Ivan singing about the same old fucking story, which seems to be almost ironic as he yells and complains about the same things over and over again. The band honestly sounds pretty tight once again musically on this track, but they are in desperate need of some new ideas. A Day in the Life is another one that falls into that cliche category for me, and I mentioned My Heart Lied already, but that is a track that's definitely growing on me. As a whole, yes, it does have moments that could be improved upon, but it's something that I'm still enjoying. Now, there are some pretty enjoyable tracks on this record. I got some of my criticisms out of the way first, but we get to the track, the instrumental interlude track. It's called The Agony of Regret. It's a nice one that shows the band mixing things up, throwing in some new ideas. You're going to hear new sounds on this one, an acoustic guitar, some keys, and it really leads nicely into the next track, Cold. Cold really is the highlight of this record. It stands far above most of the tracks. Five Finger Death Punch mixes in some piano and even a string section into this song and truly creates something memorable and unique. I wish the band could see that they're at their best when they mix things up, throw in a little bit of everything here and there, and just some honest emotion and something that I actually can feel and connect to. Lyrically even, this track is light years better than any of the other tracks on this record, and it's easily my favorite on the album. The track Wrecking Ball is not a Miley Cyrus cover. I had to address it because some people have honestly been wondering, I've seen, so just to clear up any confusion, no, and you were stupid for thinking so. This song is actually pretty entertaining, seeing Ivan seeming genuinely anger as he describes himself as a motherfucking wrecking ball. The drums sound top notch on this one and really help fuel the passion on this track. Matter of Time is a track that picks up right where Cradle to the Grave left off in terms of musical style. Things get a little bit more interesting once the harsh vocals come in, along with some supercharged guitar riffs and solid drum arrangements, and the music here on this track is enough to save this song from falling into generic territory. Then we get to a cover song, House of the Rising Sun. This is one that I was super excited to hear because, you know, Five Finger Death Punch have done some really cool covers in the past. They're no stranger to it. They've done the Bad Company cover, and even on their most previous studio album they did the Mama Said Knock You Out cover. And when I saw this on the track listing I got very excited, and they definitely exceeded my expectations here with this cover. It's easily my second favorite song on this album, even though it is the cover song, but it just closes the album out on a really special note. The guitar riffs sound very inventive. They took it and put their own spin on this song, made it their own, and that's what makes a truly good cover, in my opinion. And then finally, a track that's starting to grow on me as well is called Let This Go. It's not exactly something that I dig lyrically and can get into in that sense, but I really do like the guitar playing and skill shown here. It's definitely a fire it up style track that will make you, the listener, feel pretty empowered. Overall, this album suffers from weak songwriting, falling into cliches here and there, and then low replay value. But it succeeds when it gets more passionate, raw, and emotional. It's a 2.5 out of 5 from me. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comments section down below. Make sure you hit the like button. Check out all the links in the description down below. My Facebook, Twitter, and my vlog are all down there, so make sure you check those out. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys. And of course, you can feel free to leave suggestions for future reviews in the comments section. Album Review TV, beyond the reviews.